America here doing a replay review for Omnibomulator. It's a great name. He is an Ottoman player. Crap, I forgot his rank. It's either gold or plat. My bad. But he plays both team games and he plays one-on-ones, but his most recent games, he's done a lot of team games recently, and those are the ones I'll be able to replay. So I'm looking at this one. Him and his partner, Fearless, are playing against English in Zushi's Legacy, and they're playing on Dry Arabia. And so we want to look at why did they lose, what they do well, but why did they lose, what are some things he can take away from this. I'm going to focus mostly on Omnibomulator, because especially on 2v2s, you still have a lot of individual agency in how the game goes. When you get to like 3v3s, 4v4s, I mean, you could play amazing and still lose. So we're going to look at what are they doing, what they need to do differently. Now, for team games, no matter what size, you need to come up with a plan. Especially when you think about your two civs and how they match up. What's like your ideal comp and what you're trying to do. Now, based on the meta right now, and just in general in team games, you're going to want to be aggressive and feudal. You want to do some sort of aggressive feudal push, and then make a decision after that. You have your crossroads moment. Can you win in feudal? Like drop rams, go in, kill the enemy, win? Or are you just going to do pressure, hurt their economy, then go castle, and then like do more of a safe win, where you go castle, get mangonels, get trebuchets, and like win that way. I think a lot of that kind of depends on your matchup. And so you guys are playing against Sushis in English. And so here's what you need to ask yourselves. What's your guys' best team comp? As Ottoman in Japan, what's your best team comp? For me, I feel like your best team comp is for the Ottoman player. I'm sorry, not the Ottoman player. For the Japanese player to go just pure samurai. Just mass samurai. Because they'd be an amazing front line. They can take that extra hit. They're tanky. They have a lot of armor. And especially against who they're playing against. English and Sushis don't really have a counter to that. They just have mass archers. And Omni Butler goes, I would say, Sipahi or archers. Sipahi because he can kind of get around and surround. Archers just because the massive archers that the Ottomans can get paired with the Meter is just really, really powerful. Now against what you'd probably see, English and Sushis, they both want to go some sort of range, so mass Sipahi would be really good here with the Japanese samurai tanking. So let's see how you guys do that and how you roll about this. So the key first part is that if you're going to do some sort of military school rush, good scouting pattern into the center, out and around, then you can't go for the English player because the English short bows just make it impossible. So you might just want to mass them and keep them as defense early on because the Ottomans take a second to get going. Okay, small mistake right there. I think your goal was to get... Oh, is he holding it? Okay, so small mistake here. I think your goal is to get a clean 50 to use. But since you pulled one guy off, you're going to have to do a whole nother... Oh, you're staying on wood. Okay. Okay, I'm not about this. Let me explain why. Your goal at this point in the game, and you always need to be making villagers. Please always be making villagers. Your goal in the early part of the game is to get to feudal as fast as possible. Mostly because if you delay feudal and your opponent gets into feudal first, they get a lot of advantages over you. And if they're hyper-aggressive civ, like let's say French, and they get a knight in your base, that could almost be the end of the game if you have nothing to respond with. And so you should be trying to get to feudal as fast as possible. In case you don't know, berries are the worst food source. The slowest. Outside of civs who get a bonus for it, like IU bids, Japan can get a little bit more out of it because of their upgrades. Abbasid, Delhi, you don't want to go berries. The food hierarchy goes berries, farm, sheep, deer, boar, and then fish. And so, but the walking distance and how long it's going to take and the use of 50 wood, it's a waste. It would have been much better if you just sat on sheep. And so your go up basically should be 8 to food, 3 to gold, and then maybe 1 more to food if you're slow, something happens. But then you're gathering wood into your feudal age up to start dropping. And you need a lot of wood when you age up as Ottoman so you can start dropping your production. This is going to really delay your age up because berries are so slow. So you guys should get everything scouted, and the thing you're looking for is what are the resources around your opponent's base, and what's going to be your attack point, and who you're going to attack. I suggest you attack the Zushi player, mostly because who's right here. Mostly because, and did you see how you had 260 gold and it took you a while to catch up with food? That's it's a slight delay, and for someone whose age up is already delayed by going military school, you want to be as quick as possible. Anyway, I think you should attack the Zushi player because making sure he can't mess up with the Zugnus and get his economy set up is much more important. English economy is not as good, and he's going second TC. I hope you guys saw, he's trying to go second TC, so the British player will be delayed. So if you can get at the Zushi player, shut him down, basically get rid of him. English player is going second TC. That's your timing window, your chance to, before his second TC pays off, you guys are getting in there and attacking him. And you having this delayed age up is not helping you. It took a long time for you to drop that. Like, it seems small, but a 30-second difference, 40-second difference in you agent versus not could be the advantage of you attacking right when you have the advantage versus not. See how fast your opponent aged up. I mean, once again, as Ottoman, you will get aged up on first usually because you go military school. Your Japanese friend is also aging up very slow, and that makes me feel like he also aged up incorrectly. I didn't check his resources though, but in general, for almost any civ, if you put 8 on food, 3 on gold, that's the usual split, no matter what. Okay, so your ally needs to watch the Kurosaurus, and he's going to go stable horseman. So the key here is that you guys, you never want to go the same thing because you don't want to be hard countered. So if he goes horseman, but you go like, I don't know, Spahi, then all you need to do is make spears. To me, it's a lot better if you go spy because your Spahi are so much better than his horseman. He goes samurai. Like ask yourself, what are your civ's bonuses, and how do you parlay those bonuses into success? And that's why I'd rather him go samurai. So you notice how, since your age up is so slow, he's already dropping second TC, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Are you sticking on spears? In no way should you be using spears in this matchup. Thank you for that cheat. All we wish is that it was more. 4. I'm just checking. Villagers 25, 26. So this tells me that you missed on 2 villager creations at least, which sucks. So now you switch to Sapahi, good. You have make sure you're watching. You're sitting here housed for a while now. Here's what you need to do. You need to be checking macro cycling. So basically, whenever you're not doing something active, oh, they both 2 TC'd. Okay, yikes. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But when you're cycling, when you are, I hope you don't go 2 TC. I'll explain why in a second. Sorry. When you are not doing something that actively requires a micro, like a really intensive fight, you should be doing this consistent cycle of, am I making villagers? Am I making units? How are my villager splits? And your villager splits should be based on your goal. If you want to go really heavy into military, you will need food and wood, and splitting that and making sure you're spending down all your resources. Spending down means you're never sitting with extra resources unless you want to go castle. While you're doing that, you will, of course, when you check your resources, check your housing and make sure you never get housed. Second, you already need to be dropping production. Like, you should already drop your blacksmith and then whatever other production buildings you need. I am not for this going second TC because here's why. They both went second TC. This is an inherently greedy play. And not only that, the Zushi player put his very greedily. It's over here completely like by itself. While the English player was a lot more conservative. If I was you guys, and the second I saw the Zushi player drop the second TC, you guys are rallying all your units to here. And then you're just pushing. One of you should research siege engineering. Which for you, Ottoman player, would probably be better because you're probably going to go archers or Sapahi. And both require, and you need a lot of wood anyway to get stuff up. Like, having 13 on food right now is way too much. Because you can't use it. You have no production building. And you, with the twin, and you just put 4 on this, you get a lot of food. So in reality, you need a lot of wood. And since you're going to have the most on wood, you should be the one who gets the siege engineering. And then you guys are dropping. But if he goes pure Sapahi, then maybe he needs to get it because he goes pure samurai, would be my game plan. You guys just drop 2 rams and you go in. And the idea is that they've invested so much in getting these 2 TCs up and making villagers that they will be behind on unit production. You guys can wipe the second TC, parlay that into wiping out the Zushi player, and then you're fighting just kind of a beefed up English player. But if you now go second TC, and it looks like you both were just like, okay, we have to go second TC now. You are behind. You're inherently behind because they got their second TC up so much faster, and you weren't there to stop it. So you're not doing any damage. So you guys are going to be permanently behind on villagers. This needed to be a lot quicker decision. And see, like, 2 spearmen ain't cutting it. And now my guess is that you guys are going to constantly struggle to get up. And he might just rush castle, honestly. So this is what, when we do these reviews, I hope you're able to see kind of like the trail of consequence by the decisions you made. Since you took so long to get the feudal, you are now, it took you a second to decide what to do when you saw the second TC. So then you went second TC, which then delayed you getting up production, which delayed you getting units out. And now, even if you wanted to stop them, you can't. Because you guys just don't have units out. You didn't... What makes an attack, an aggressive attack on a second TC successful is that you are from the jump putting resources into units. And those units are there by his base and ready to attack. And already also looks like you guys are separated. Like, he's going to be over here, and that's not going to be successful for you guys. You also need a blacksmith. Very much need a blacksmith. I say this all with love. Like, these are all things I've learned from many, many, many losses. I'm trying to just help you not have to learn by doing many, many, many losses. Hopefully you can learn something else. So this is actually kind of a sneaky good use of, if you have horsemen and there's really no good place to raid because everything's covered by TCs, you could just attack the meditation gardens, which will reduce the amount he's getting from them. You need to watch your units because then he will just take you. And this is like, so once again, our choices. Our comp should be based on what our Civ is good at. On a team game, it's based on, and on 1v1, it's based on what my Civ's good at, what he's, with my opponent's running, and then countering as we go. And constantly ask myself, like, am I going to win this fight? What units would help me win this fight? Like, that's the question we constantly ask yourselves. In team, you add another layer of, what is my teammate good at? What am I good at? What can we mesh? Which is why some teams are better than others. You have to consider your opponent and what their opponent's good at to decide what you should do. So, for example, like if you're playing against HRE, matching them men-at-arms versus men-at-arms is not a good idea. Their men-at-arms are so much better than yours. So for example, the Japanese purposely don't have good archers. Their archers are fast and they're getting mass, but his archers will get torn up by the longbows. So why is he making archers? You should make archers because your archers will be buffed up by Meter. With ranged drums, potentially. Which will really help. Your power units are Sipahi, which you're making. But he should not be making archers. I think you should make archers. If you're worried about spears, if he just makes samurais, the samurai will destroy the spears. I think you're setting yourselves up for a bad time. There's the blacksmith. Macro check. So you got enough stone for a second TC, but you didn't get the wood to get the second TC. And now I don't know if you're going second TC. I'm kind of confused about the goal here. Maybe this is just all for military schools, but if that's the case, put 3 on stone to get enough for military schools. And don't go over the amount you need, which now you have way too much. Like, this is 500 resources that could be something else if this doesn't become a second TC. Second, look at your resources. This tells you that you weren't spending and you weren't split well enough. You weren't split well enough, so you can't make enough Sipahi. You don't have the production, which means early on you didn't get enough wood to get the production to build the units. So next game, you should try to put more on wood at the start so you have the production to make the units instead of floating so much food. Okay, now you're heading out. So the question is, what do they have? All Zugnu. Alright, so this is going to work. The issue being is that you have let them get a massive eco league. Like, look at the Zushi player. He has 2,000 food. The English player has his farm set up. For example, you have 34 villagers. Zushi has 48. English has 43. So now you guys are kind of hitting this point where if this attack doesn't work, you're dead. Because they'll just out-eco you. But you put yourself in a bad spot because you weren't aggressive enough from the start. Like, imagine if your resources were spent perfectly, you should have... how much is a Sipahi? 120. You could have 10 more Sipahi. At least. That's being generous. Good first upgrade. Getting the defensive arrow is critical. You also need wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow should be the first equal upgrade you get, and you need it. You should get double broadaxe because you need a lot of wood. Okay, you're going to go in, but you're not going in together. Go now. Okay, now you're going together. Really go in together. You also have no scout in here, so you couldn't see what was happening. Going castle here's death. It also says you don't have the production. Like, you have so many resources and you're not using them. It's painful to look at because you could potentially win. You should win, because if you had the units with the resources you have, you would wipe them. But you don't. And what you both have done, your ally is aging up, and you're not making units. And so, what you really needed was 2 more stables. And the way we can tell is if you can make more than 2 units out of a production building, you need another one. So you can make more than 4 Sipahi, you need another one, and you need to be rallying them up here. A tip is I put all of my production on 3 or 4, and that's the case. So like I'm up here, and this is my army. I'm looking at this, and I have a moment because I'm not actively micro anything. I'm gonna click 3, rally up to here, and I can click Q, and now I have Sipahi on the way. So I'm consistently getting units back up here instead of forgetting to make units. I also put my TC on side of my mouse, so I can click that, Q, and I'm back in the fight. The hotkeys are so important for this sort of stuff. The second he gets out spears, you're done do. And see, he just outmaxed you. Their ecos are too strong. So how do you fix this? Well, you're about to hit buddy's about to hit castle. He needs to instantly start grabbing relics, and you need to go castle. And basically, once again he needs to go samurai. He needs to go samurai, just to tank. And you should say Sipahi, but you should also go. You need siege. You're gonna get the free Maginot, but you need more because the mass they're gonna have is gonna be crazy. Good little raid there. And that's another thing. You guys need to now raid constantly. Like, basically, you need to make it so that they can't come and attack you because they're constantly afraid of raids. So, like, running like a few horsemen to the back lines and just raiding. Because you need to buy time now. You need to buy time, get relics, get better units. And you need way more production. I don't like the mounted samurai. Because they're gonna just mass spearmen and crossbow. They're gonna hit castle and go spearmen and crossbow right now. Look, he just went up, and he could start massing spearmen. Even feudal spearmen will hold up in mass. Which, look at this. Also just think about what he's running. They're running a completely infantry-based comp. Samurai get an upgrade that makes them deal bonus damage against infantry. So once again, it's just like build the unit that's going to put you in the most successful position. Way to get relics, though. Okay, now you're in archers. I should have done this from the start, but really, I would have just dropped more. I would have dropped another siege workshop and just make. You basically need to kind of turn this with one big fight. So if you could have 4 Maginels, 3 to 4 Maginels in this next big fight to just wipe out their ranged, you're good to go. Because this is it. At this point, if you don't win here, they'll have way too much eco. And you can't engage without this Maginel. Because you know they have a shit ton of ranged. I like that your buddy went out on the boar. That's big. You're also lucky they're so passive. And now your second TC is coming down, which is like, it's... Sure, put it down now, but like it should have come way earlier. Or not at all, and those resources should have been put into military. More military. Siege workshop. Put a blacksmith here at a siege workshop. You need 3 or 4 Maginot. So this was a nice little scouting you did, and that should have told you a lot. He is all spearmen, Zugnu. Holy shit, that's a huge military. So you have 39. He has 81. And look at his eco. He still has 2,000 food. The Zugnu eco is insane. That's Zugnu, I'm sorry. Zushi's legacy eco is absolutely bonkers. You have to attack them immediately and early, or else they would just outboom you, and there's nothing you can do about it. English players on 3 TC, for God's sakes. Like, really their issue is that they just didn't spend. And your Japanese friend is on the same issue. He's built 3 barracks. He's not building anything out of them. Not only that, he has 2,000 food that he's not spending, which is, once again, is just a macro mistake. He's 27 on food, but he can't spend it. Like, he needs 18 on food and like 15 on gold. But he's not checking it at, and the point is the point of the macro check is just to ask yourself, are my resources balanced? What do I need to change? Why are they not balanced? Well, I'm making gold heavy units. Okay, well, I need more gold. But the second I saw that, I would have backed up. Because I think you're just going to run into... Okay, you have 1 Mangonel. But yeah, I don't take this fight. I don't take this fight. Good first hit. Huge second hit. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's working. So what happens? Oh, see how... Look at that. You see how fast his cav just got melted? Because he has 27 spears. Just melted. And you don't have the archers for that. You needed to turn and run right now. Run. Run. No, run. Yeah, that's game over. So you might ask, like, how did I know it wasn't going to work? Because you already had the information. When you did your first attack, you saw he put a shit ton of barracks, he put a shit ton of archery ranges, and so he was going to go mass infantry, and he was going to just immediately get your counters. He's not... The people who play this game aren't dumb. Like, he knows you're going to go gold units. He's going to make crossbows. He's going to keep... And you guys went all cavalry the first time, so he went mass spears. And you guys never adjusted. If your ally had done a huge hard spearman switch, which he has, 4,000 food to do it. If you had done a huge investment, which once again, look at your resources. But look at your production. Look at his production. Look at his production. And that's another tail of the tape, right? Is that you don't have the... And this is an issue I still have. Neither of you have the production to match the resources that you now have. And so even if you were picking the right units, I don't think you make enough. But if you had invested into huge siege and Sipahi, and your ally had done pure samurai, you could have won that fight, because the samurai tank, Mangonels open up, and then you could run the Sipahi around the back and then go for the kill. And you know Englishman's going to man arm his castle, so he goes mass samurai, you go mass crossbow, siege, and some Sipahi. Bada bing, bada boom. But overall, what's the things to work on going forward? 1, quick feudal. You need to get the fastest feudal possible. You need to watch a build order for Ottomans, but mostly it's after you get the initial stone. You need 8 on food, 8 on food, 3 on gold. If you need to do, you can do like a 5-man, just jump on a chagro tree, get 50, then you're good to go. You need to adjust your macro based on your goal, which it looks like you guys want to be aggressive and feudal. Make sure you get more wood, make sure you're dropping production so you can have it, and making units as fast as possible. Just making units. And 3, I think you guys need to pick a better complementary composition. I think I gave you the easiest one, which is Samurai Sipahi, which will work against almost anybody. Once you get into Castle, it gets a little bit more complicated. And then the 4th thing is Scout. You need to scout, you know what your enemy's doing, and react. The second you saw both your opponents goes 2 TC, you got to go as fast as possible and attack one of the TCs. I would have gone the less safe one for them, less safe for them. And that's why you have your scout over on their base when they're in feudal, just when they hit feudal, and you check the stone. You see them on stone, go time. Go time. I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any questions or have any feedback, please let me know, and good luck on your games.